Back to Alinsky. The Alinsky ideology is to identify a specific agreed population, say unemployed steel workers or itinerant pickers, residents in a particularly bad neighborhood, and agitate them until they become so upset about their condition that they take collective action to put pressure on local, state, and federal officials to fix the problem, often by giving the affected group money, giant shakedowns. The purpose of rules for radicals, the purpose of these techniques, and you're seeing them right now, you are living through them every day. My wife gets tired of hearing it because I'll sit there and yell on pages in the book sometimes. I'll say, well, that's page, whatever, you know. You stir turmoil amongst the classes and the races. You rub raw underlying resentment between them. How about the new Black Panther Party last week? Okay, they're showing that over and over again, calling us racist, stirring all kinds of resentment, and it's going to get worse. I got news for every one of you. That's just the start of this. To create a mass organization to seize power. Well, the presidency is a pretty mass organization. So President Wilson created mass bureaucracies to thwart the election process. Let's talk about great progressives of our time, right? Is there such a thing? Woodrow Wilson created these giant bureaucracies. How many people know that? Okay? You know that Woodrow Wilson also rewrote all of our history books, right? He was the first academic progressive. Then President FDR added more of these bureaucracies, and he started to redistribute the wealth. We all know this, right? Then LBJ came along and added more. How many people have taken the ride outside of Chicago going down I-65 on the way back to Indianapolis? You see those buildings for miles and miles and miles and miles on both sides, right? That's your war on poverty. That's what's left over of it. Tenement slums that were created by LBJ that sit abandoned now. But it's interesting that President Obama's redistribution of wealth and his social change, he has spent more than any of those presidents combined in 18 months. Some say it's a Clower and Pivot strategy, if they're familiar with Clower and Pivot, to overload the system. I think it's even more devious than that. To redistribute wealth means control of all commerce. To cause revolution, to remake America into a progressive image. Remembering that we, the educated progressive, know what is best for you. When you're asked, what is a progressive? I want you to take this away tonight. It's something that I've been doing lately, and it's pretty effective. Say you're a farmer. Okay? You have this land. A socialist will take that land and give it to the state. A communist will take that land, give it to the state, and tell you what to plant. But a progressive is far worse. A progressive will take your land, he will tell you what to plant, and he'll tell you what to eat. That's a progressive. Remember that. They're a different breed of cat. They're a different breed of animal. You know, the educated elite who know what's best for you, even down to putting a child's body mass index on a report card. I always like to talk about the very beginning of this book. We're going to start walking into some of it at this point. Because he dedicates this book really interesting. It says, lest we forget at least one over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical from our legends, mythology, and history. And who is to know where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which. The first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom. Lucifer. He dedicates the book to the devil. You gotta like a guy like that. You gotta at least respect him, right?
The devil.
Mm-hmm. Okay, into the book. The ideology of change. I'm not making this up, try this into Barack Obama. I'm not doing that. This man uses the words hope and change through the whole book. That's where Mr. Obama got it from. Your current president was completely trained in these techniques. He was trained by Jerry Kalman. He was trained by Saul Alinsky. I keep drawing that line for you. The ideology of change is an ideology of consistently working for an open society. We all know how that works out. Ideology has no fixed truth. Truth is relative. Truth is changing. A chameleon, changing to fit the landscape. A political realist ideology and the Machiavellian of it's what men do and not what they should do. Well, you want people like that to be leading the country? Democracy, which America is not a democracy, right? Everybody knows that? America's a republic. But a democracy, according to Alinsky, is only a means to an end. He believes in constant irreverence, constant questioning of the status quo. He brags that in his belief system there are no commandments. They don't exist. Ideology, once inside your system. These people are inside your system. And what are they doing? They're doing exactly what he says. They're shredding all fallacies. Therefore, there's no light and dark. There's no good and evil. There's no life and death. You shred people's illusion of fallacy after fallacy after fallacy to draw them into despair. Alinsky addresses class distinction. He makes sure his organizer sees this. It's a progressive ideology that is based completely on bigotry and racism. These people that are progressives are bigots, and they are racist. And if you go hear any of them speak in person, it doesn't take long just to watch their demeanor with people. They act this way. Alinsky breaks classes into three major categories: the hams, the have-some-and-want mores, and the have-nots. So I got some cartoons for you to break this up a little bit. Alinsky says the haves. In his world, the haves have power, money, food, luxury, security. They suffocate on their surplus. They have money and power to uphold the status quo and support it. Those are the haves in Alinsky's world. The have a little and want more is his target population for social change. To turn against the haves through guilt. Everybody in here feel nice and guilty? I run into people all day long that feel nice and guilty about you working hard and having nice things and being responsible citizens. And I run into even more of them that feel guilty now, more now than ever. This is Alinsky tactic. It's the middle class. Is to seek and protect what they have so they can uphold the status quo. He says that you seek the safe way. Alinsky believes that these people are rooted in inertia and where they're political do-nothings. They have split political personalities and will go whichever way is the safe way to uphold the status quo. They don't want to lose what they have. He said they're not great revolutionaries, therefore we have got to make them feel guilty to take what they have. The have-nots, the poor. Now, Obama's definition of the poor is under 250K. I can give you many references of that. It's not hard to do. That's what he believes. It is the greatest number of people being realistic. In Alinsky's world, they suffer misery, poverty. They have rotten housing. They have disease. Now, I stopped there for a minute and I said, what is the disease that the poor have? What's the number one disease in poverty? Anybody tell me?
Obesity.
Obesity. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Ignorance. They're kept that way on purpose, I think. I think that their families are destroyed on purpose, I think. And it's all progressive tactic.
Makes a family.
They're politically impotent. They have despair. They're caged by their color, according to Alinsky. I found it to be another very racist thought by a progressive.
Right.
Caged by your color. And I like to hear Martin Luther King's talk on that one. They hate the haves. They consider the haves to be, in Alinsky's world, the man, the establishment, the Uncle Toms, being the blacks that made it to the next level, according to Alinsky, the oppressor, the cracker, etc.